What's up, Gotcha Gamers? YouTube here, and today we're going to be talking about the best builds for all the Nihility characters in the game right now. And if you like content like this, and you like content like build guides in general, and just stuff on Honkai Star Rail, then please hit that subscribe button. But there are a couple things I do want to mention before actually hopping into the builds now, which is usually I say there's a best light cone for every section. Usually there is. For this, it's a bit different because Nihility characters are quite different because you either have dot characters or you have like the debuffing type characters. So the best in slot light cone, there's no like clear line between that. Usually like the debuffer ones is the Silver Wolf light cone's the best, and if it's like the deep dot characters, it's normally like Good Night Sleep Well, or you want extra effect hit rate. We're going to talk about the best light cones today, so this is going to be kind of different from the other videos if you've seen those already. And also on top of this, I do want to mention again, like I mentioned in my other videos, substats are always better than sets, so make sure you're aiming for substats over sets because they will net you a more positive outcome. Say for example, you have really good substats built into your Kafka and she has a lightning set, right? Well, you know, the dot set might be a better set for her if you have good substats already. There's no point of switching over because you're not going to get a damage increase at all. So let's go ahead and talk about these best builds now, starting off at number 1 with our best boy Luka. Yeah, Luka, he's cool, right? Anyways, let's go ahead and hop into his best in slot, which is going to be the 4-piece prisoner set. This gives him an attack bonus. On top of that, it's also going to be giving a defense shred as well, depending on how many dots you have on the enemy. Now if you can't get this, 4-piece for the champion of the Streetwise boxing will also work on him as well. Just keep this in mind when building. You can run either of these sets here. Either of them work pretty well against them, right? And it's really going to depend on what team you're actually using them on. Same thing for all the dot characters on this list here. Now hopping into his best in slot light cone here, it's going to be Insistent Rain, which is Silver Wolf's signature light cone. If you can't get this, Good Night Sleep Well will work really well for him. But let's say you don't have either of these light cones, good free-to-play options here are going to be Solitary Healing and Fermata. Now as far as that planner sex goes, we're going to be running a Glamoth or Space Sealing Station. This is going to be about the same for every single dot character on this list. You want to give them more attack, more damage output, so their dots are increased in damage. Hopping into those main and substats now, we're going to be running attack percent for the body, speed for the boots, physical damage for the sphere, and attack percent for the rope. Now, those substats are going to be speed, attack, effect, hit rate, and break effect. This is going to be the same for just for about every single Nihility character that does dot on this list here, just because you want them to hit their abilities as much as possible, but we will note it out when that's not the case. Now, hopping into our second character, which is Guinaifen. Guinaifen's also going to be running a 4-piece with the prisoner set as well. Her whole main thing is dealing dots, so obviously this is really good for her. Her best in slot light cone is going to be Good Night Sleep Well. Like I said, this is going to work well for any like kind of Nihility character that's doing DPS, so yeah, if you can't get this, then Solitary Healing is a solid option to get as well. Planner set's going to be Glamoth or Space Sealing Station. These two sets are really good for any dot character, like I mentioned before. As far as the main stats, on the body we're running attack percentage, on the boots we're running speed, on the sphere we're running fire damage, and on the rope we're also running attack percentage here as well. We're also going to be running the same exact substats as we were before on Luka, that being speed, attack effect, hit rate, and break effect. Now let's hop into Mr. Scammer Kotsky Sampo, because you know he scams your pockets and scams everything you're worth. So hopping into his best in slot, it's also going to be a 4-piece prisoner set. Something I should have mentioned out here is you definitely can run him out on a 4-piece musketeer set, as any of these other dots as well. Those also work on all these characters too. Now hopping into that light cone, I think his best light cone is actually going to be In the Name of the World, just because this will increase damage, this increases effect hit rate, and just kind of makes him function a bit better. If you can't get this 5-star light cone, then Eyes of Prey definitely works on him. If you can't get either of these options, then the best free-to-play option is going to be Fermata, because Fermata does play off of either shocking or wind sharing the enemy, which he does, and Kafka also shocks, so if you have him on a team with Kafka, this will always be procced off. Now, as far as that planner set goes, I can just recommend Glamoth or Space Sealing Station here. Same with any dots here, increase attack, increase dots. Now, as far as those main stats go, it's going to be attack percentage on the body, speed on the boots, wind damage percent on the sphere, and attack percentage on the rope. Hopping into those substats now, it's going to be the same as before, which is speed, attack, effect hit rate, and break effect. Now, he does have, I guess, a lot more chances to hit his ability off because his ability hits multiple times, meaning Windshear has a chance to proc off a lot more than other characters, say like Luka, for example, right, where he's like a one and done. Sampo hit 5 or 6 times, so having a lower effect hit rate doesn't really hinder him as much as some other characters though, but if you are wanting to guarantee Windshears, you do want that higher. Now let's hop into our Queen Pela now, which is actually the first difference we have out of all the characters we've shown so far, because her whole shtick is not dot, it's shredding the enemy's defense. So what I recommend running for her is actually the 4-piece eagle set. Now the 4-piece eagle set is going to be really useful just because of the fact that it'll be advancing forward action when using your ultimate. Considering her ultimate is only 110, it's a pretty low ultimate cost in comparison to other people's ults. So using this could help you out as far as getting her back in rotation and proccing that defense shred off even more. It only lasts for 2 turns, so getting this up as fast as possible is going to be key and essential to keeping your team's damage up. Now if you don't want to farm that set, that's completely fine, because this set can be quite stinky to farm. It does have the ice set, which I mean I guess could help if you have an ice character, but it also has the wind set as well, which is the main thing you kind of want for her. Hopping into her best in slot light cones, obviously on her best in slot light cone is going to be instant rain, which is Silver Wolf's signature light cone. It's going to be really good because it increases effect hit rate, it increases the amount of crit rate they're going to have, and it also gives Aether Code, which increases the damage you can do on that enemy. Now some other light cones you could use here would be Resolute Shines and Pearls of Sweat. The reason you can use this is because it will do some more defense shred. Defense shred is multiplicative, meaning if you get multiple defense shreds on an enemy, this something like this can be really useful as far as like getting more defense on the enemies, and you're doing even more damage because their defense shredded even more, and that's multiplicative like I said before, so it's just like a multiplying factor of how much damage you're doing. Now hopping into these free-to-play light cones, before the tutorial mission starts, if you have this light cone, they haven't given it back out, which is a fat L on Hoyoverse's part. I think they should have some type of event so people can get this light cone, because it's super good because it increases effect hit rate, and it's going to be increasing the amount of energy you get back whenever you attack a defense reduced enemy, which is her whole main thing, is reducing the defense, so you can get her ult back up that much faster with this light cone. If you don't have this light cone, then solitary healing can work as well as far as a free-to-play option. It's not going to be that good, but I mean, it's the best you're going to have if that's the only free-to-play option you have, right? Now, as far as those main stats go, on the body, I do recommend effect hit right here, just so she's guaranteeing the defense shred off every time you use an ability. On the feet, it's going to be speed, you want to be as fast as possible. On the sphere, it's going to be ice damage. On the rope, it's going to be energy regen right here, so you can get the ultimate back up as fast as possible, like I said before. As far as those substats go, these are going to be a little bit different now. We're going to be actually running effect hit rate, attack percentage, speed, and crit rate. Pretty similar to the one before. We're just really not looking out for break effect here. We're kind of replacing that break effect here for the extra crit, because she's actually able to do a pretty nice amount of damage if you can build her correctly. Now with Miss Pela out the way, onto our DPS god Mr. Welt here. That's the build I'll kind of be showing off today. On him, you're going to be wanting to run a 4-piece of the Wastelander set. This is going to be the best set for him to run. As far as the light cones go, just run his signature light cone or Good Night Sleep Well. Either of these light cones can work really well for him. If you're wanting a good free-to-play option for him, you can use the 3-star light cone loop at S5. It basically increases the damage you deal to slowed enemies by 48%, and that's his whole thing, is slowing enemies down, so you're going to be doing a lot of damage with this light cone. His best planner set is going to be Runeland Arena or Pan Galactic. If you need more effect hit rate, then obviously run Pan Galactic here. If you're not really worried about that, then just run Runeland, because he's going to be a DPS monster for you. As far as his main and substats go, I just recommend crit rate or crit damage on the actual body piece, because like I said, I like him as a DPS. That's how I run him, and that's what I think the best build for him is. Now as far as the boots go, we're running speed here, we're running imaginary damage bonus on the sphere, and finally for the rope, we're running energy regen, right, to get that ult back up as much as possible so we can keep imprisoning the enemies, locking them down forever. Now as far as those substats go, I would recommend effect hit rate, attack percentage, speed, and crit right here, or crit damage depending on whatever you can get. Make his damage go higher. Bing bong ding dong, super good there. Now let's hop into our Dom Mommy Kafka. Now the best set for Dom Mommy Kafka here is actually going to be the 4-piece of the Prisoner. Alternatively, you can run 4-piece of Sizzling Thunder here as well, just because it does give some extra damage bonus, and you might have already farmed that set, but yeah, 4-piece Prisoner is the best in slot if you can get better subsets there. Now as far as your light cones, first signature light cone is going to be your best in slot light cone, with her second best being Good Night Sleep Well. If you can get either of these options, then either Fermata or Solitary Healing can work out really well for her in that free-to-play field. As far as the planner sets go, I would run Glamoth. Glamoth is super good for her. She's a speed queen. Give her a lot of speed, give her a lot of damage. Space Healing Station will also work as a second best alternative here though. Now, hopping into this main and substat, she's going to be wanting attack percentage on the body, speed on the boots, lightning damage on the sphere, and attack percentage on the rope. You want her dots to be doing as much as possible, so when they reproc, you're doing absolutely massive damage. As far as those substats go, we're going to be aiming for speed, attack percentage, effect hit rate, and break effect here, because break obviously will increase the amount of dots she does when she breaks. On top of this, attack percentage will increase dots, speed will increase the Glamoth effect if you're running Glamoth, and effect hit rate, especially if you ever E1, this will increase the effect of that as well. or basically have a higher chance of proccing it off. You really don't need a much effect hit rate with her, but this can come in clutch as far as guaranteeing what you need to guarantee with her. Then finally, our Nihility Queen right here, which is going to be Silverwolf. I think she is the queen of the category here. I think she's the best character of the Nihility class. You'd probably say first. She's great for free-to-play players' accounts. She's great for new players. You know, she might not be that good for late game players, but she's altogether pretty good. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about her now. Her best in slot is going to be the 4-piece of the Musketeer set. Alternatively, you can run a 4-piece break effect set on her because she does absolutely massive break damage. So either of these two sets work. She also has a high toughness break on her ultimate too, so that's something to note there as well. Now, light cones are going to be her signature light cone, or Resolute Shines of the Pearls, which gives you a multiplicative damage multiplying increase with the defense down that it gives. So super good there. Her best free-to-play light cones are going to be the Event Light Cone, like I mentioned before, and Solitary Healing. These are really the only two options you can run here. Event Light Cone, super good. That's what I personally use on her, but if you don't have that, then Solitary Healing might be your only option there. Now, planar set's going to be Ageless or Broken Keel, kind of whatever you can get here. If you need more HP, run Ageless, of course. If you want extra crit damage, run Keel. That's kind of up to you. You can also run the new set as well, Peekany of the Dreams. What this is doing is basically just giving you a 10% damage increase for allies with the same type, and an energy regen bonus as well, so she's able to get her ult back up faster. This works really good on like mono quantum comps, so just keep that in mind there. As far as her substats, we're running effect hit rate in the body, speed on the boots, quantum damage on the sphere, and energy regen on the rope. Getting her ult back up as much as possible, making sure effect hit rate high enough to change typings if you need to do that, or just really put any debuff on the enemy. Now, as far as those substats go, we're running speed, attack percentage, break effect, and effect hit rate. These are the things that I recommend running here. You don't really want to run crit damage unless you have her higher Eidolons, but we're just kind of like stating these 5 stars out for low Eidolons. So please subscribe to the channel if you like videos like this, because we will have more coming out in the future, as well as solo build guides. As you'll see at the end of the video, we will have playlists there. If you want to watch a different video, maybe you want to watch another build guide on how to build all the Harmony characters or all the Year Edition characters, whatever it may be, or maybe you want to watch like individual build guides, which will have a playlist for that as well. Anyways, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Leave your feedback in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next one later. Bye-bye.